Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube channel and the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube channel. This is the Dynamite review for the 5th of January 2022. First Dynamite of the year, first Dynamite on TBS. Start with the Hangman Page defeating Bryan Danielson. Um, ultimately, the only difference here for the championship is if it goes to a draw, we get judges. Judges are Mark Henry, Jerry Lynn, and Paul White. Um, you know, um, anyway, Danielson stalls slower pace, and he's taunting the champion. After which he leads to kind of going in a direction that has him in control. He recovers from a powerbomb. Danielson is on the edge of the ring. Page teases the buckshot lariat. Danielson then rolls to the floor where he continues and counters another dive. Page then crumbles into the barricade. Danielson targets the champion's right arm and shoulder. Challenger continues to dismantle Page's arm. Page then makes a brief comeback with a springboard clothesline. Near fall, Danielson comes back, creating some space. Danielson counters, running offense, drop to hold into the steel steps, busted the champion open, and the blood is a main story for the rest of the match. Danielson lays the ground and pound in, goes for the cross arm breaker. Page powers out, hits the Death Valley driver. He's bleeding pretty heavily at this point. German suplex. Bridges for Page, then comes back, suplex to each other, and then they go in the positive direction. Back in the ring, Page lands repeated headbutts ahead of the commercial, and then Danielson is busted open. Page hits a ton of blood all over both guys. They then fight on the top rope. Page hits insane moonsault, power slam for near fall. Out on the floor, Page nails the Deadeye. Calls for the buckshot lariat, but Danielson collapses, and Page is running just about it. Danielson cradles Page before applying a label lock. Champion powers out, and then catapults Danielson over the ropes before hitting the Oriara moonsault, and Danielson avoids buckshot lariat, hitting the Bushido knee for a good near fall. Then they have a headbutt battle until Danielson hits the high kick. Page then wants the Deadeye, but Danielson turns into a Gotch-style pile driver for a near fall. Challenger grabs Page's wrist and stomps his head in, goes for the knee, but Page reverses into a pop-up powerbomb. Danielson counters, follows into a triangle choke, but Page then powers out, forcing him to adjust into the knee bar, and then Page gets back, counters, and lands the rabbit punches before hitting release backdrop suplex. Page then hits buckshot lariat for the win. Acclaim are supposed to drop a music video next week. Shawn Dean defeats MJF by disqualification. CM Punk runs out and chases MJF around the ring. Punk hits GTS on Dean, and then goes for the disqualification, meaning MJF is 0-1, and that's his win-loss record for the new year. CM Punk grabs the mic and said this would happen every week until MJF gets in the ring with him. MJF calls Punk phony and said that without him, Punk is nothing. He makes Punk relevant. He then said Punk's not a guy he used to be. He's not a savior. MJF is. MJF asked if Punk thinks that he is Roddy Piper, because unlike Punk, Piper was talented enough to main event WrestleMania. He then said if he'd shown more respect, he might have main evented Mania as well. Punk then said all he wants to do is kick MJF's tail. He told him to go ahead and go to the other place and get released right away. MJF then said it would be CM Punk versus Wardlow next week. Punk then said that eventually MJF would run out of people to hide behind, and he'd put MJF to sleep. Jericho's promo, Jericho said it's great to be back after 2.0 hit him in the face with a chair 6 weeks ago. Last week he didn't come out to save Eddie Kingston. He came out to take care of 2.0. 2.0 interjected Lee interrupted, asking how the steel chair tasted, so Jericho said he had a square head. He then said Parker has a pinhead. Jericho grabs Floyd the Bat. Sneak attack from Daniel Garcia allowed them to beat down Jericho. Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz run in, and these six will collide in a street fight on Rampage, and absolutely nobody cares. Video package recaps Jake Atlas' debut match and subsequent signing. Adam Cole's backstage. Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. He said he knows O'Reilly didn't mean to kick him in the face. And then he said Young Bucks are together and they are unstoppable. Cole then challenged Jake Atlas to a match. I'm still the guy everyone's talking about. It's New Year and the same Adam Cole. Wardlow with Shawn Spears defeats Antonio Zambrano. Spears hit C4 on Zambrano before the match. He wanted Wardlow to cover him with the win. Wardlow did it on his own terms and hits 5 power bombs. Video package recap building Chris Statlander and Layla Hirsch rivalry. TBS Championship Jade Cargill with Mark Sterling defeats Ruby Soho to win the TBS title. Not a great match. Fans get into it at the end, but Cargill tries to overpower her opponent, but Soho battles back out to the floor. Soho then lands a soccer kick and a missile drop kick. Cargill takes advantage using the re-entry into the ring, landing diving axe handle. Mercedes Martinez runs out, but then Thunder Rosa runs in to interfere on her behalf. During the break, Cargill makes Soho's shoulder the target of the attack. Soho then made a comeback with kicks before the STO gets a 2 count. Laid in more kicks on Cargill's leg, but Cargill then hits a shoulder breaker and then a pump kick for near fall. Both ladies trying to get position, and then there's a benefit there. Sterling distracts the official, but then is ejected from the match. Soho continues Jade into a cradle and then hits the no future for good near fall. They get lost in the match here. Then, Cargill is first on top and manages to hit an avalanche Jaded to win the match and the TBS title. Serena Deeb is interviewed by Jim Ross about her Shida. Deeb said Shida was a fluke victory, so now on it's about hurting her. She said she's the best women's wrestler on the roster, having paid enough dues for the entire locker room. Deeb demanded match with Shida next week, Dynamite, and will take the 17 years of anger and frustration out on her. Malachi Black versus Brian Pillman Jr. with Julia Hart. Pillman surprises Black early and sends him to the floor, landing a diving dropkick. Black then regains control during the commercial break. Once back, Black crushes Pillman with a jackhammer for near fall. Pillman then goes for air Pillman, but Black then hits the spinning heel kick for the win. After the match, Black corners Pillman and Hart. Lucha Brothers walk out after Black, and then they had attacked Pac, but then the lights go out, and somehow they teleport it into position. This is stupid. Ruby Soho is asked about the tournament finals, interrupted by Britt Baker and company. Baker said this is the second time Soho has failed to win the title, but Soho said Baker can't win without her associates and never beaten Riho at all. They all basically run their mouths about each other. AEW Rampage on the 7th. Adam Cole versus Jake Atlas, Hook versus Aaron Solo, and Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter versus Riho and Ruby Soho. Battle of the Belts on 1/8. TNT Championship Cody Rhodes, Sammy Guevara. Women's Championship Britt Baker and Riho. Dynamite for next week on the 12th. Punk, Wardlow, Shida, Serena Deeb, Powerhouse Hobbs, Dante Martin. Tag Team Championship main event. This did not end well for the champions, but we have new champions, so I'm good with that. Spot Fest goofiness, which actually led to injury. Imagine that. Anyway, Lucha Brothers, have a few month reign. Phoenix and Jungle Boy start off with a back and forth lucha exchange. Phoenix winning with a couple of kicks. Luchasaurus and Penta tagged in. They do the glove deal. Then they go for chops. Luchasaurus lands one of his own, but then their respective partners come in. Jungle Boy goes for the step up double arm drag, and then goes for a smaller team members dragging the higher opportunities. Luchasaurus then locks on control with power, but then outnumbers by Lucha Brothers. Jungle Boy then tags in and fights out both opponents, Ultimo Dragon style. Double takeover. Phoenix surprises him with a tightrope, soccer kick, and then ahead of the commercial. Upon return, Luchasaurus makes comeback against both the Lucha Brothers, the champions. Took him down with simultaneous thrust kicks before assisted splash. Phoenix gets the Jungle Boy. Then they hit the diving destroyer on Phoenix. Luchasaurus hits Death Valley Driver on Penta for near fall. Phoenix then hits the destroyer on Luchasaurus and Penta. Hits the Made in Japan on Jungle Boy for 2. They're about to nail a combination finisher, but lights go out. Lucha Brothers maintain control. Luchasaurus, Penta hits the Fear Factor pile driver on the apron. Fear Factor follows for a great near fall. Abraham pulls out a table at ringside before Christian chases him off. Penta then tries to super kick Luchasaurus through it, but then gets dispatched. Phoenix then tries, but Luchasaurus catches him with a choke slam through all the way to the floor. Jungle Boy and Penta are on the ring. The former of them wants a kill switch. Penta then continues into the counters into Made for Japan. Jungle Boy cradles Penta to win the match and the championships. After the match, heel tag teams come out on the ramp, outlining the potential challengers to Jurassic Express as we close the program. The table spot was pointless because it looks as though, at the very least, Phoenix dislocates his elbow. At the very most, he injures himself more permanently, like with a broken arm. Spots for the sake of spots, but it's 2022. We don't need psychology. Anyway, we'll be back with more right after this.